Hey everybody, Jerome, BFAM Cooking. You know what this is, not another, recipe. It's going to be an interview by our beautiful friend and a lady who has the pom-pom that happens to be on top. We're going with Charlynda Scales. She is here to talk about, this lady's doing everything. I don't know what you guys know about her, but she is doing everything. If you remember from way back when I first got into this thing, it's been almost 6 years now, but we talked like relatively early, and she was a wee little lady then, just arriving out of the military. She spun up something that was about hot sauce. And I think she had just 3 flavors then. Then she blew our mind with those, which was delicious. She said, you know what? I can't just do hot sauce. I got to get my hands into everything and have a baby at the same time. I don't know how she does it. I mean, I consider myself really busy, but so that is a business owner of hot sauce. She's got that out to the world. She's now in stores. She was direct. She is running something called the 688 or 6888 incubator. I want you guys to dig into this lady. And of course, for some of you who were lucky enough to get a copy from our giveaway, to receive her book, wrote a book. When does she have the time with a little baby? I don't know. Charlynda, thank you very much for doing this again.
Hey, how are you, Jerome?
I am great, hanging in there. I'm here with you. We're here to find out more information. So let's give me a little backstory. Once again, you're an Air Force vet. Tell me a little about your time with the Air Force.
Yeah, I'm still the same old country girl from Tennessee.
Oh,
cornbread fed. Yeah. So, trying just to stay true to who I am through everything that's happening. I have been running Mutt sauce, so Mutt sauce is still going. I started with 2 other co-founders. It's called the O-Taste Foundation. So we started a nonprofit during the pandemic, and it provides resources to food and beverage entrepreneurs in the form of financial literacy programs. And then, yes, we built an entire commercial kitchen called 6888 Kitchen Incubator that opened this year, February 2024. Yeah.
Congratulations. I mean, you decided that you just, hot sauce is just not big enough world for you. You just want to, do more things.
I think, we're all in this life journey, right? And some things seem like that was all we were supposed to do. But then sometimes we get into it and we realize it was just a stepping stone to something else we were supposed to do. We just really needed to have that first experience to give us the wisdom and credentials to do the next thing.
Okay. And that next thing was?
Well, yeah, the kitchen. So I really had the desire now, this part of my life, this phase is where I'm nurturing others. And nurturing others with education, nurturing others with transparency of my experiences. And then literally, I had my baby in the pandemic, and I'm trying to keep him healthy through a global pandemic as a newborn. So all of that has been occurring, but I feel like it's what I'm supposed to be doing. It doesn't feel overwhelming. So...
Okay, doesn't feel. I can't imagine that having a son and running one business doesn't feel overwhelming. Because I mean, when I had my business as a photographer, it was, I had other people to worry about, and being the oldest of 8, I had other people to worry about. Still have other people to worry about every day. I just can't imagine that it would be easy. But you then took some time to write a book. Tell me about this book, lady. I mean, you
I know, it's really wild. Stuff just keeps happening, and I have to stop and really tell myself, like, this is not typical that in a year you open up a kitchen you debut a book, you're traveling the country, you still have your kiddo, you're doing all, and you're serving in the as a reservist at Wright.
Oh, she's still in.
I'm still in. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I'm
Okay.
still in. I still got my boots by the door, bro.
So officer in the United States Air Force, mother of one, two-time business serial entrepreneur, and you're writing a book. And I'm trying to get it all together now. Make sure I'm not missing anything. TED Talk speaker, is that correct? Motivational.
I did the TED Talk before I had my baby, but yeah, in the last year, still doing reserves, still with the kitchen, Mutt sauce, my son, and I am a government contractor, so I also do contract work for the government. Let's not stop there. I speak, right? I do keynote speeches across the country this past year. And I say it doesn't feel overwhelming because I've also, at this point in life, have learned how to open my mouth and ask for help and give things to people. Actually do what I tell people to do. I call my hypocritical advice, which is hire what you suck at. I am not a good writer. I can remember my story, but I'm not a good writer in the sense that I could sit down and write it out. I had to find someone with that talent to help me get that across the finish line.
That's hey, ask for what you need, right? I mean, that's what I'm looking at a mentor right now for help me with get over the imposter syndrome. My side hustle is my real job. I mean, I think it comes from talking about it at work when it happens. That I'm a software engineer as regular, and this is my side hustle. Ma'am, let me just back up a little bit. Let's go over a little bit more Mutt sauce to be more refined. You got on shelves. How did that happen? Talk about that journey.
Yeah, the journey of Mutt sauce has been a roller coaster, but it was good. I had a good mentor, so started out, I Googled free help. So this was not something where I'd inherited some multi-generational wealthy, I'm not a trust fund kid of any kind. I got a piece of paper with a recipe on it, a handwritten piece of paper. And
from your grandfather, right?
My grandfather, who was also a veteran, but he invented this recipe in 1956. So what I wanted to do was not interrupt my military career. I was active duty at the time. I wanted to continue serving because to me, I'm like, this is just a piece of paper. It just took me a minute to listen to mentors saying this is bigger than a piece of paper. And we're going to follow this thread, see where it goes. Got the mentorship, started out 700 bottles hand poured by the Amish. You know, that was from the advice that I had gotten on how to take this piece of paper and turn it into a physical product. And you scale. So we've scaled up manufacturing, I think 3 or 4 times. And since then we've been it's a process. You sell it, you reinvest in the company, and you make more and you scale more. Now, I made mistakes. Of course I made mistakes throughout the journey.
Yeah, of course.
But it's been good. It's been 10 years now. 10 years.
So you scale. You say it so matter of factly. You went from a recipe, right, to at least 3 I know of, 3 different flavors. Can you tell me the names of the flavors?
Yeah, at our peak we had I think 6 or 7 of them, but steady ones that have remained the whole time are original, sweet and spicy, and ghost pepper. And my hustle, I was grinding. Look, if you wanted Mutt sauce, I would meet you in a parking lot.
Out the back of the car, mixtape version.
What you need. I got the flavor that you need.
Give me. So a little bit more like a Martin kind of character. My name is. No, I'm going way back in the 70s. What's that guy's name? My name is Rome, and I got you a little bit. My name is Rome, and I got a little bit of. I got what you need. You need what? I got what you need.
So it started out very much of just grind hustle. If you want to try it, I'll meet you wherever you want to go. It turned into, there was a group of friends They would go to the Senior Citizen Center, and then they have wine on Fridays in Kroger. And they would bring, one guy specifically, Rod, he would bring it in his pocket and set it on the table. They were in there so much, and he was such a fan of Mutt sauce that the manager of Kroger was like, "This is in Kroger." We're like, "No, my product's not in Kroger. He just brings it in the store." She said, "Well, let's fix that. Let's
fix it.
Walk through the paperwork of how you can be a Kroger product." So
wow. Yeah. So you side-doored that one, huh? What do you call it?
I always give props. I call them the Kroger Club. I'll always give props to the Kroger Club because customers are everything. You have to really take care of them because they'll take care of you, right? They will get you in stores that you never thought you could be in. But I started out with mom and pops. Did farmers markets on the weekend. You know, if I'm not on duty, I would do farmers markets on the weekend, festivals, things like that. And then as I started learning about how to price my product and pitch to stores, I think by the time Kroger did bring me to the table, I was ready. I understood, what I needed to do.
Okay. All right. So you're down to three different flavors, right? So the original,
sweet, spicy, and ghost pepper.
Okay. And you were doing swag back then, if I remember correctly. You had some type of paraphernalia. Then I assume that led some way somehow into the Shark Tank situation where you got a little bit of funds in there coming along. Got to talk to some multimillionaires.
So actually, Shark Tank happened super early. Shark Tank happened. I was only in business for 6 months. I hadn't even been in business for a full year. And I was still active duty, and there's a lot of lessons learned there. If you're the first active duty Air Force person to ever go on Shark Tank, you're not just beholden to whatever talking points you want to get out as the founder. You're an active duty representation of the United States Air Force. So there's a whole other level of things I had to remember and say word for word if they asked me about my career.
Wow.
And then one detriment, I think, to the pitch was, if I were to play devil's advocate, it was, you can't quit your job. This whole if you work another job, you're not a real entrepreneur kind of thing. That was the mindset back then. It's not that way now, thank goodness. But back then when I was pitching, it was like, you're all in. Tell your boss, tell the camera, tell your boss, peace out. And they were like, you absolutely will not quit your job on national TV. And if they ask you if there's something more important, you say yes, supporting and defending the Constitution of the United States of America. And that's where you leave it. And
that is more important.
It is. It is. So I went into it knowing that is the truth. And also, they're not going to give me a deal.
Nope.
They're just not. So that was one thing. I was still active duty. 2, I hadn't been in business longer than a year. So let's just be realistic. What person's going to sink a whole lot of money into something that doesn't have a proven track record of sales? Yeah.
They want that's that catch-22 thing. They want you to make money, to be making money, to be asking for money. That's the have and have not sort of situation. So we made it through Mutt sauce. We're moving forward in this journey. I'm going to pull it out if you're going to give me something. Okay. So we got the Mutt sauce. We met Damon Johns is his name, right? You're sitting in the room with the people who got money in their pocket. Well, actually, no, they don't got money in their pocket. They got cards that represent money. They don't have to hold money in their pocket anymore. Yeah. So he's in the room with you. You talking with him?
No, he's not. He was the only shark that wasn't there.
Really?
Yes. I think that is the awesome circle of life that happens if you decide not to give up, because they told me to think of a shark I would want to pitch to when I got there. And I instantly thought of Damon John. He grew up, single mother, hustled, sold t-shirts at the back of his truck, just like I sold sauce at the back.
Mixtapes.
So I'm like, this is a shoo-in. He understands my journey. And I get there, I was like, what sharks am I pitching to today? And they're like, everyone except for Damon.
The one.
So I'm deflated instantly, because I'm I go into it not thinking I have the people in the room that understand my journey enough. There's just so many things that were messing up my mind frame before I went in for that pitch. I'm not surprised at how it ended. I'm glad to know that they encouraged me to keep going. And it's because I didn't see Shark Tank as like, this is what you're going to need to make it. That I didn't internalize that Shark Tank equals making it or not making it as a founder. 4 years later, when I was looking at a pitch contest on Facebook and they said, oh yeah, Bob Evans is doing this thing where you can pitch for funding and mentorship. They didn't tell me who the mentor was though. So when I got notified that I won, it was from a phone call from Damon John directly.
Oh, really? Ring, ring, ring. How'd that go? Tell me. Give me.
I about passed out. I cried. I did. I just bust out crying. Because I think it was cathartic in a way. You've been grinding and grinding and grinding, and you're looking for the light at the end of the tunnel. And you're looking for the big break, the big sales moment or something to validate why you've been in this for so long.
Right.
And someone calling and saying, congratulations, like you've done it. Like, I can't wait to meet you. And he has no idea what I've been through. He had no idea about Shark Tank. So that's why I was so emotional, because I was feeling all that. The years of grinding had just caught up with me.
Of course. So they maybe I know I saw you on Shark Tank. I saw this episode so long ago. It feels like you didn't get what you wanted from Shark Tank, and I don't remember whether that is true or not. So you didn't specify. Did you or did you not get on the first round? First time you were there?
I went all the way to Hollywood, but my episode didn't air. They just told me to keep going.
Okay, so they gave you encouragement. Yeah. So that's the okay. I get what it is. But you know what I like about it a lot? My wife and I watch a lot of cooking shows and cooking competitions, and we always say it's not the winner of the cooking competition that does the best. It's always the one who's just survived through it, gotten through. Yeah. And I said
almost like American Idol. Like, there are people who have won
and you never see them again.
You don't remember them. Right.
Yeah. I remember, if I remember correctly, I want to say Clay Aikens didn't win or something. Somebody didn't win that I was like, yeah, okay. But then the other person
got runner up, right? But they were clearly, they had talent.
They had talent.
Yeah. But you have to just stay true to yourself. You can't let someone outside of you to say whether or not you're going to make it or whether or not you're a real entrepreneur, especially if you're working. I keep hearing that for some reason when people have gone back to work or they're deciding this is a tough economy and I need to feed people in my household. And then people on social media are shaming them. You must not be serious then about your business. Oh, yes, they are.
Yeah. So Bob,
you only see them because the people are working.
That's it. So you get Bob Evans. I'm just trying to make sure I'm trying to go back and make sure we covered it. Bob Evans is a major food player. I know the name, right? You're now partnered with them. You've gotten the Damon Johns Connect, right? Which is I know him from FUBU, and I know him from Actively Black. Because I'm a big Actively. If you can't tell, I got style. You look at this shirt. Come on. So Actively Black. I'm constantly rocking with the FUBU Connect there. So you got those little pieces. You made it over yet another hurdle. But tell me what after Bob Evans, you felt like that was you've made it level, you plateaued level, or how do you get to that next? Yeah,
I was excited. I feel like it was a high of the experience. And one thing I've been very transparent about, at least the last few years more often, is the fact that you can be doing really great and also at rock bottom.
Yes, which is with the title of the book, right?
Right.
Rock bottom has a trampoline.
And that's where it really began, because I was bragging to everyone about how lucky I was. There was just one person. I was part of a duo. And that was really important for me to give credit where credit was due, but not realizing that as soon as I said those words, I would then leave that marriage abruptly, but no one in public knew. So there's still putting me on TV, and I'm still doing podcasts and television. And I was living in an empty apartment in Washington, D.C., commuting back and forth between there and Ohio to keep the business going. And you know, whether or not it's like, no one's going to talk about rock bottom when they're in it. So I had to let go of the feedback. Some of the negative feedback I've gotten from people who don't know me is like, why did you put all this in the book? Why didn't you tell us back then?
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, how many people are like, hey, I'm going through rock bottom right now. I just want you to, you know, they're not going to say that.
Well, also, you know, I like to say that we have a lot of acquaintances in business in general. You know, we try and make connections. You know, we personally don't. I've talked to you on the phone, a regular phone, you know,
Yeah.
so
Real life.
yeah, you mean real life, not just on the internet. And it's really, I'm finding it unique to try and make friends, especially seeing now that I'm working so much in my basement. Because that's a different way, you know. I'm not. It reminds me when I was a kid and I had a CB and used to talk to people on the CB.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So, you know, and I used to love doing that because you could pretend to be anybody.
Yeah.
Which is what I used to do.
See?
So,
Telling on yourself.
well, is it telling on yourself that the CB was the internet of the day? You know, and you could be anybody. So I used to be anybody, and now I'm trying to be someone that's unique, and I'm interviewing people, saying hello, trying to make sure that they get known by people, that as much as I can support them, pushing them out through the internet. You know, my LinkedIn setup is so large that where a lot of military people live, which is really important. That group is different than the other groups which are part of the social network that's out there. So let me get back to your journey there, right? Where you've decided, how did the 6 888 incubators get set up? I mean, I assume probably because you needed someplace to cook, right? No? Okay.
Yeah, my place now is fully manufactured. So for me personally, I was trying to help entrepreneurs survive the pandemic. And it just really felt like a calling to offer consultation services, mentoring services, because there are things that I knew how to survive the pandemic as a business owner. But it's because I've been in rooms that they probably have not been in. I've had access to information they probably will not get access to. And I have a problem with that. I have a problem with there being access to information.
Are you saying you got problems with the access, or is it the gatekeepers that prevent people from
that part, the gatekeeping?
Don't you do it.
I am so anti-gatekeeping. And to the point where I didn't care. I didn't care to be paid. I didn't care. I just wanted to see them do well, especially the food businesses, because they're so important to have. If you're thinking about education, or if you're thinking about tourism, people ask about where's a good place to eat, and a hungry child is a starving brain. So I wanted to make sure that people are contributing and feeling like I can contribute to solving this problem wherever I live. Now, when I'm telling them what they need to do, I called it the scales of food manufacturing. It's like the food pyramid, but it's in manufacturing. They're all at home, which is cottage food. They can either go to a commercial kitchen, or they can co-package, which is what I would do, is pay a manufacturer. Or you can become that manufacturer and get your own warehouse and your own equipment and stuff. Most cannot afford to even go there. So I'm like, if you're trying to get out of your house, you need to go to a commercial kitchen. There isn't one.
Yeah, that's the thing. So this is a very similar conversation I had with KJ Kearney, just in my last interview. Okay. Talking about making your own, trying to get your own. You know, he has a television show that was connected with PBS, and it's called Bite the Power, right? But he's saying he's saying that he needs to build his own thing, you know, that he needs to be able to control. I was like, well, why don't you go through Kickstarter to get your, you know, your toe in the door and move it forward. He goes, no, Jerome, don't. I'm not looking for little money. I'm not looking for
it adds up though.
That's what I said. Of course it adds up. $100,000, which is the reason why I even said Kickstarter, was because I personally support. I've been through Kickstarter. You know, I haven't had an item on there, but I always support or find people through that as a gateway to getting to know people. That's how I met Carla Hall. That, you know, when she was starting her restaurant. That's how I met. Yeah. She had a restaurant in Brooklyn. It didn't work out for her, but you know, she got it up and running, and I went to visit her there. It was part of the whole package. And I thought that this was I said, if this buys you, if that money, one, gives you proven support, that's one thing that they always want. And if it shows that your idea is marketable, right? Why not? I mean, it won't cost you, and you'll only be making, I don't know, $100,000.
Yeah.
You know, Meeson is on there. They're pots and pans. They did it for, I got my shower head through there. There's another little small company. Yeah. I thought that these are all possibilities.
Rated. I need to go check out some Kickstarter. What?
Please, Ben, the B and Brooklyn, which is two sisters, the Davenport sisters, started a bookstore. That's what they went to ask for money, and they over exceeded. They're Culinary, and they're people of color. That's what they focus on. Very unique. They're trying to get a brick and mortar, and it's going to, from what they described to me, it's going to be spectacular. I am well aware of them and always there to support, and that got them their e-commerce money coming in, better website. So for you, now that you're digging into food, and you've now, I hope you see that there's a clear road for you in how you can grow your mega empire through food. My wife and I sitting here watching Magnolia, right? And I'm just saying, we're watching Magnolia, okay? And I'll just say, let me put it to you this way: Magnolia has those people sort of feel to them. They started out with restorations and, you know, building. Now she has her television show that does cooking in her.
A whole line of stuff.
I know. I checked it out.
I was in Miami, and I'm like, what is this? It looks like a big display. I mean, they had their own home decor display that took up like a big chunk of the floor space in Target. I'm like, this is a big deal.
Yeah, they do magazine. They do media. They have channel. They're hooked in with HBO. All I can say is that's a great example as to how you can diversify. Lady who is the speaker, author, sauce owner, incubator.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, there's a couple more, avenues
they've learned branding and kind of built their own culture, right? But they've also learned how to monetize something several different ways.
So I'm not giving any hints here, but is there something like that for it's coming from you?
Yes. So I travel and speak.
Mm-hmm.
I have my book.
Yes.
Sauce is now a product.
Yes.
The services that we provide with Otaste Foundation, we have products that we sell.
Yes.
We're about to revamp our financial literacy program, and that's why, as I've been subtly talking about how I don't like gatekeeping, because what I'm about to do is release something that will be priced that hopefully will put so many people in a position where it's like, you clearly do not care about small business, because if you look at the price of what we're offering and look at the price of what you're offering, you're just trying to make money. I'm trying to keep people in business.
So the reason why I'm even mentioning it, reason why I'm getting all stirred up here, because I can see some writing on some walls that are possible for you and my friend there, Mr. Kearney. There are opportunities of which people, it's not just Black Food Fridays, which is what he does. It's not just hot sauce. That what you do, there's possibilities on growing something that is yours and unique and is driven towards a success that I hope that you guys can see together. There is opportunity out there that people need to get heard. I mean, I love my girl Carla. She's got her show now that she got away from the other guy and all that issue, and she's now giving me more history, which I love, the style on it. And you know, I'm hoping that there are people who have made it over a couple of hurdles who can also see the direction of potentially spreading out and marketing those younger individuals. Not that I'm looking for a spot. I'm looking for a spot.
I think it is, when you're talking about imposter syndrome and stuff, the challenge that I've had as an entrepreneur, it simply comes down to consistency. Mm-hmm. Because you can be confident and you're turning out things for people, and it's great, and then all of a sudden you just have that moment where you're like, wow, okay, does anybody really care about all this stuff that I'm talking about? Like, do they really? You know, and you have to really quell that, because I was listening to that voice for so long before I had somebody else come in and say, you can talk about this book for forever, or we can write the book. And it got done so fast that even sometimes I look back on it, it's like, why was I spending so many years when it was that easy just to bring another person in the fold? I am my own worst enemy sometimes. That's the only thing holding up something is me.
So my understanding is that you put out a post, last week, talking about how people need to support people. Right? Can you tell me a little bit about this post? Because we had a big talk in the Veterans Club that you've made your journey, you've moved forward, you've gotten out there, but people don't realize the ease of how they can help other people by just supporting them. Yeah,
it goes so far. So there were two, and the first post, I think I was just on a roll, Jerome. I was like, while I'm at it,
stuck one foot in, might as well stick the other one in, huh?
Yeah. Because I had seen them back to back, and I couldn't believe that there were two people that I admired that were like my sheroes, and within the matter of the same week, they were both like, we're shutting down our company because we run out of capital. Because no one's actually buying our product, or a deal went south. So the first one, Trade Street Jam. So we talked about how Trade Street Jam was doing millions of dollars in sales, and she was on TV, and she was Oprah's favorite thing. Her jams were on Oprah's favorite things, and she's confessing that she's run out of money. She has no savings. She's cashed out of 401k. Her children have no savings. Like, it was a mountain of bad. And I'm like, how did she get to this point? Like, what is it? And I think it's because if people see a good thing, they want to draft off the influence in a way.
Of course.
You get something as a magazine if people want to read it because of the person that you featured, or same with news stories. So right. It does great for that channel. It does great for that blogger or whoever it is. But did it equate to sales for that founder?
Did it? How can we improve that?
I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm still trying to figure out that part. Like, how do we get people to support more in real life? But I know that there are things that the department stores and corporations and networks that we're working with that are providing us this opportunity, this exposure, they can cut a check too.
Cut a check. Give me some money, baby.
They can cut a check. I would much have rather, I'll talk about this, but QVC, right? I sold out on QVC, or so I thought. So the day that I posted about it, that I had made this monumental feat, I went from having no website, turned on muttsauce.com in April of 2020, right when the pandemic started, with my newborn, have no way of making money, so I'm just going to try this e-commerce thing. QVC, will you go on the show? Yes. They bought thousands of bottles. They were going to buy all the product, but it turns out when I did the show, the website said sold out. And I'm not in the warehouse. I had to tape the show from my kitchen at home because everyone is at home on lockdown.
Right.
And they found a way to make you basically your kitchen is now the TV studio. So I get excited. I see sold out on the website, or when they say it's sold out. And then I get a call from the warehouse. Why are they saying it's sold out? We still got pallets down here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Scary.
I'm
That's
like,
sort of.
yeah. So I'm like, y'all need to keep rolling the tape. And we just keep it on there. And I'll be like, oh, show's over, thank you. Bye. You know, on to the next one. So I went back to them, and then there's so many emails back and forth of, we have to sell this inventory. You said that you bought all the inventory. And when I went back to my spreadsheet that I made, that not many entrepreneurs have, I can tell when I make money.
Right.
And that was, I still have like 10 pallets.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it became a back and forth of that. And the reason why people like my next friend, Deshaun, had an issue was they only paid for maybe like 1/3 of it. So when she said Macy's bought the inventory, they only paid for enough for that first lunch. But then they put it back on the founder. Well, you have to work with your social media following. Like, what person has a bigger social media following than a corporation? Very rarely do they.
Right, because they don't have a dedicated team towards it.
Yeah, so you have to sell it all, or you have to drop ship it. And so as these extra things are coming up, these fees and this extra work you have to do, the profit margin keeps getting lower and lower.
Smaller.
And sometimes these corporations have exclusivity contracts. So if you didn't help me sell it, I can't repackage this for another corporation who's like, I would really like to have you on my show. Can I buy like 7 of these? No, they won't even let me sell it. So you're stuck with it. And that's what she was stuck with, millions of dollars in inventory that they didn't help her.
And that took her down. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about that. But this all comes back to the basic premise of what BFAM is, right? I wanted to support people in the military because, I was the ERG lead for NBC in New York, right? And I wanted, obviously, I have no choice but to be the person of color. Came that way. Got to do something with it. So focusing on those two main areas of my family, or my community is what I like to call everybody. We have a great possibility as people of color and ex-military, or current military in your case, to get together. There's so many people who I know, well, I can't say so many. There are a number of people who I know who are involved in different small aspects. It's like pieces of a puzzle that haven't been assembled yet. There happens to be, he's going to hate that I mentioned him, but Iron Mike has a marketing company.
Oh, Stedman.
Yes, Stedman. Which write him down. He's doing a lot of things. He's a lot of things too. We always a lot of things. So the ex-military, we current military, it's never just I make a chicken sandwich and that's it. It's never just I make hot sauce and that's it. It's I gotta right. He wrote a book. He wrote a book too. I got his book too.
I made a book. Yeah.
Another book. I think all you guys' books came out. We got Chef Russ, his book came out. I got his book, right? Yep. Cooking. So I'm like, I see all these pieces, especially in this lane of culinary, that we can put the right combination of people together and opportunities. We can get something that moves forward. Because my big vision, and not that it's just an interview with me, but there's a place that's up the block from me, which is like in the back of my head. Okay. I would love to do a video studio with it.
Oh.
Right. So for cooking, culinary, right? Set up multiple studios because my previous life, my 20 years of photography, I could do any lighting thing and video.
What's stopping you, Drum?
Oh well, that's a money thing, and being courageous as you are. Because I've been through business and I had to shut down a business before. So
I'm not courageous. I'm delirious. Like
that's a shirt. I'm not crazy. I'm delirious. I got to make that one. That one.
I'm not courageous. I'm just delirious with, I just really feel like there's something bigger than me, and I'm crazy enough to try to do it.
So there's a kid on YouTube that says, as an entrepreneur who has received multi-million-dollar checks, which I saw you up there getting, have you ever been broke?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like cash poor?
Cash poor. That's broke.
Yes. Yeah. In my book, I talk about my first anxiety attack was, I had someone who owed me money, so that was the other part of it.
Oh, don't get me started with owing me.
There was the other part of the rent where I was like, net payments, there's no corporation that should look at a small business and be like, I'm going to give you net 60. You make so much money, just give them the check. Just pay them and let them go on about their life.
Yeah, I put my foot down about the net 90 thing. I'm like, you're crazy. There's no way I'm doing that.
Yeah, it's so unfair, but that day I had a payment that was due to me, and I had paid out everyone, and I did not know there was another big bill on the way. I wasn't worried though, because the check was supposed to have been deposited. I woke up negative $1,500 in my bank account.
So they call it a train wreck, or at least I call it a train wreck. I had that happen to me too. Or better yet, someone bounces a check on you. you know you have the money, you deposit the money should have been cleared, and then you hit this train wreck, and all the cars come mangled after it.
Terrible, right?
Yeah. Trying to explain that to family members and otherwise that you all of a sudden can't.
I've never scrambled so much, but I'm just like, this is a lived experience for many people. Every month they're trying to just make sure the checks don't bounce. And that's why I returned to working government contracts. I'm like, there are things that translate well from my military training. And if I can do it, and I think the pandemic showed me that it's a balance that I could personally maintain, I'm going to do it. There's nothing that helps me but sleep better at night knowing that I'm not riding around in my Honda.
With a cracked windshield or something, some craziness.
I'm not the hustle grind. Not to say that I don't know how, but it's just not my preferred lifestyle anymore. And especially with my baby, I want there to be stability. I don't want it to be, I have to make all these really tough decisions every single month. That's just a level of stress I don't want anymore.
Which is what is preventing me. You asked that question, and there you go. I've been there, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like that feeling. I don't know. I could never be not to say that this guy is a great guy, but I could never be Donald Trump and owe these people all this money. I don't know how you owe multi-millions of dollars and still just keep pressing on, knowing that you're going to owe more.
Well, there's two different philosophies on wealth, growing wealth, and he, I think, aligns a lot with the Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad author. He's pro debt, and he'll say in a heartbeat that he owes millions of people money, and he sleeps fine at night because that's the way he grows his wealth, is by the debt that he has. And I don't know, I think Robert Cardone's the same way of using debt, but not everybody is like that. Right. There's two different sides to the coin. There's the Kiyosaki's versus the Dave Ramsey's. There's everyone has their different philosophies on debt. I personally, I don't like owing people anything.
Yeah,
I don't like that existence. I have made a lot of financial sacrifices. I could probably have financially retired. Financially, I could have retired by now if I never started my company.
Yeah, well, but you're leading other people now, and you're on this 888. You're giving people access to information around how they can be successful with their family and all of this. How is that helping you to be a better person moving forward? Tell me about that little.
The position I'm in now more aligns with my passion, or what I feel like my purpose is on earth, which is to bridge that gap in education and to tell people that there's someone who doesn't just empathize but also sympathizes with you, because the loneliness is what I think made the journey the hardest. That no one understands what I'm going through. No one understands the plight of a single mom trying to make it. No one understands the only child who's now taking care of both of their parents and growing a company and
having a child of their own.
Yeah, all of that. So starting the kitchen with the two co-founders, they had been running a kitchen, so they knew what it was like to run a kitchen.
And what's their names?
Jamaica White and Debria Rice. They both own Divine Catering and Events. But they walked in, imagine this, we don't know each other, but we walked into the same building at the same time talking about the same thing.
Ooh.
There needs to be a commercial kitchen in Dayton, Ohio.
Oh, and sisterhood.
So the people at downtown Dayton, they said, maybe you three should get in a room together and talk through it and see if you can come up with a solution. And entrepreneurship is just problem solving. So we got in there with a whiteboard, went crazy with it. 4 years later, we opened up the kitchen. So get in a room 4 years later. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to simplify a very long journey. But yeah.
Did you bring food or something? Was there a knapsack or something? 4 years later.
It was a lot. So we're now also in a phase where we're going to start teaching people, because nonprofit, I would think being for-profit owners going to nonprofit, it'd be easier to do nonprofit. And we have found out it is not. It is so hard.
It's harder. Yeah, I can't.
So much harder. But I'm glad to now have an experience where I'm not growing something alone, because that was my experience with Mutt Sauce, was a solo entrepreneur. So I'm learning a lot. It's been a better experience in that way. And now we have members. So it's a membership based. You're a food entrepreneur who needs a space to work in. You go in there, you sign up as a member, you cook and run your food company.
Can I ask how many? How many people do you have?
We have 12. We have capacity for 40 with the model that we just built out. It's going to be 2 phases because pandemic exploded all the construction costs. We're now 1.3 million from our goal, where we were at one point fully funded at 4.3 million with no debt.
Excuse me, lady. Excuse me. Yes, that's pretty good. So then let me ask you about my idea that's been floating in my brain, because I live right now in what I consider a food desert. Almost. We're getting a closer certain level of supermarket nearby. It's being built right now, but there's a main fire station that was done, I guess, in the 70s, 80s. And across the street is the old fire station. That's up for sale, right? It's an empty building on our main street. Huh?
Is it historic?
No, it's not historic. 2 levels, not historic, smack dab in the middle of town. And I'm thinking, in my mind, call it the firehouse, a firehouse cook or a firehouse kitchen or whatever, right? There happens to be a fire truck on it, which is great because you can put it right at the corner, park it right on the thing, and right. And I was thinking, because I think there's I'm real close to Cisco. There's a Cisco factory around the corner. But I was thinking you could do a ghost kitchen upstairs, right? Do that whole thing that you're doing, basically rent out the space to small businesses and let them build. I'm centrally located on the island. I mean, smack dab in the middle, less than a half mile away from the train station. So really close to highways, all those things that I'm mentioning. And then downstairs on the first floor, do 2 studios, full-blown kitchen studios, which would be really interesting to be shot, fully wired up, which is my area of expertise, full cameras, permanent setup that you can move the cameras on trolleys and arms, and that could definitely work. Shooting nothing less than 6K, so everything is professional, and then have maybe 2 full-time editors who would come in and edit the video, and then content pushed directly to YouTube or Vimeo or whatever, right? Whatever is required to have people come in there and do it. And you can also do an audience, because if you think about where a fire truck would sit, you can bring and do a full show And it literally, that's direct content building, and then you can sell it to the shows to someone else. That's the media core to what our friends at Magnolia is doing. I love them to death. I'm using them as an example because Oprah's not coming to Long Island. Well, she comes, but she don't come my way. We're the other part of Long Island.
The new Oprah is like a Keith Lee, right? Keith Lee, who the restaurants and stuff.
Mm-hmm. The old Oprah is still around, and she's still making a bunch of money.
Oh yeah, she's still got Oprah Daily and the O Magazine, and she's got to maintain. You got to maintain.
Yes.
I like it. I mean, I love anything outside the box. My ADHD, the way my brain was thinking about it was, if you had something that was a ghost kitchen on the top, and then on the bottom was like just regular eating, like people could eat on the bottom floor.
You mean come and sit?
Yeah, the menu is actually every restaurant. Everybody who's upstairs cooking, you can order from them. And then have the media piece where people are talking about their experiences, almost like Guy Fieri, how he goes to diners and dives, except you don't have to travel. You just get their feedback while they're there.
It would definitely, that would mean, my only problem is I look at the location and what's around it. There's a tire repair garage across the street. There's vacant space for parking. There's really not, and there's a parking lot there, but
for other people to come in.
Yeah, why would people come there? Is what it would either have to be an excellent restaurant where it was a driver, and then
let me tell you, don't knock it till you try it, because one of the things that was not really in our plan was to be feeding people restaurant style when we open our kitchen, because it was just for the members. But how about we have a line out the door, because people want to try their food. So two of the members decided we're going to DoorDash our food as well.
Yes, DoorDash.
The kitchen have to be open for DoorDashers. But then people would just walk down the sidewalk and like, what's that? What's that smell? That smells good. What is that? Collard greens?
Right.
Collard greens and yams and chicken. So the side effect of having the ghost kitchen, commercial kitchen, is if you open your door to the public, they will be like, that I can eat that? Yes, I will come there and eat.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about the delivery service. That was one of the reasons why I was thinking ghost kitchen.
I like that.
Yeah, because the trap, you could set a secondary door to prevent people from getting, so that it would be a useful, quiet space to shoot in. That's.
Well, I like your media mind, because that's the one thing I learned from you is just there's a way of doing the media to make it what people love. They love
hook or crook.
Yeah.
Hook or crook. You definitely can get a whole. It's my days of shooting weddings. You'd be surprised as to where I've taken pictures at that were like, you took a picture and it looks so fantastic. I've shot next to garbage cans and it's where the light is and what's at where your angle is. So I can carve out a spot that's going to make it look like it's $1 bazillion.
I think our next chat should be on location, or at least you get on FaceTime when we're talking in real life and come look at my basement, because I have all this media equipment and I don't know, I've been rocking with the same $50 ring light for 4 years now. I got all this lighting equipment down in the basement and I'm like, I don't know how this works. I bought it, entrepreneurs are bad with this. We were like, we need the microphone.
Yeah, we need this.
I have this microphone. I know this is a microphone.
Yeah. I have one of those too. I just don't. I'm not using it anymore. I got a whole little setup now.
I can't find the cord, and I don't know how it works.
Yours is a USB mic. That's a USB mic. I went and got a Rodecaster Pro 2 when I did some research and found out what was the optimum setup for doing podcasts, and I went and got the optimum setup for podcasts so I can have 4 mics if I ever got into a spot where you can, You need
to be teaching this.
Well, I mean, that's all of my 15,000 jobs, I'm always the tech guy. So that isn't, that's not really a surprise for me to be out there teaching something. I want to get in a real studio space where I can have you come and I can really interview you, get you a microphone in front of you, face to face.
What if you did audits for people? Like I was saying, like you just hop on live and put the camera.
I could do that for sure.
The camera on in their basement, like help me set this up.
Yeah, I definitely can do that, but I want to make you money too. I want to be able to. I don't see why QVC has to be the only resource to be online. I mean, I can do anything that QVC is requiring. I could do on a smaller scale, for sure.
I mean, I can QVC on a MacBook Pro.
Well, the thing is, I also do the website, so I won't forget.
Oh.
I that's what I do. That's what I did for NBC. That's what I did for Levi's. That's what I did for Chanel. That's, I can run the list. That's literally what I do. So this isn't my capability of being a photographer, which is what I did for 20 years. When I was in service, and when I left, while I was in service, that was my side hustle while I was in service. And now, when I got out, I even shot Clinton and Gore's first inaugural ball. I was one of 47 photographers for that. But that's neither.
You're not an expert, Jerome.
Well, I'm a man of two brains, as I talked about last weekend on my little interview. But I'm creative, my cooking interview. I talked about my cooking and how we got into this, but I'm so interested in supporting people that I'm trying to make sure that they understand that it's possible to do on a smaller scale and it doesn't cost you that much. This setup was reasonably priced. It's going to give you more than what you need. I haven't even taken out the other 3 microphones, but I have 4 microphones possible. That's not including what I have just sitting in front of me. I'll
tell you what was clear to me is that you need to teach it. Because the thing is, when people are looking for content to follow,
right,
they're looking for someone who knows what they're doing.
Of course.
I think that these fake influencers and gurus and stuff, they're getting sniffed out a lot better. And people are seeing right through them. But if you have a genuine passion for what you do, which you clearly do, then, just doing those, here's a great mic. This is the earphones that I like to use. Those kinds of people respect your experience, and then they're going to respect it and buy whatever you tell them to buy. Because if you tell me I need a different microphone, I'm buying whatever Jerome tells me to.
Yeah, well, that's a good microphone. The snowballs are great.
When we talk about monetizing oneself, how do people transcend to monetizing their brand? That's what it is. She spent so long becoming the subject matter expert in homemaking and home decor, and when she makes a pillow, you buy it.
Right. Personal branding, I think, is what brings you over it. But for you to monetize, I'm not monetized yet. I'm working on getting my second sponsor. I had my first sponsor when I first started BFAM Cooking. We had a connect with through an interview, and I talked the guy into, because I used to sell cars too, but so I talked the marketing manager. He contacted me on something. I was like, look, I'm getting ready to spin up a YouTube channel. You don't know. When I get out there, we're going to sell this. And they sent me a whole bunch of stuff. But I looking to talk to my next sponsor really soon, hopefully sometime this week.
Well, you don't have to have. I mean, it depends on what the sponsor's for. But I mean, there's people now. I make $1,000 for a good TikTok video. One of them was talking about Korean soap operas. So I mean, it's don't overthink it. Don't overthink it, because there's so many ways that you can make the money without being beholden to anyone else.
Well, yeah, I also want to support the people the things and people that I want to support. I wouldn't mention Rodecaster 2 if it wasn't something that I really think that this is the best tool for the job. Yeah. Because it has everything that you would need and a few other things. Like I can connect my phone to it, so you can call me and phone in on this. that's
cool.
Right. And my stove. Now here's the funny thing. When we originally redid our kitchen, I did the whole kitchen on the Samsung. I would not recommend that to anybody right now. So I have recently upgraded pretty much everything except for the refrigerator, and I went with the Blue Star Kitchen range. You know, the BTUs on this thing. You want fried chicken. You want seared steak. Let me tell you, my wife hates it because it cooks. It doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, Vitamix, definitely 100%. It is the best blender, worth the money. You're gonna pay a little bit more, just like you would for the Blue Star, but it's not gonna break. The Ninja died first day we had it seized up. You know, Vitamix, my wife will tell you, it blends. It does what it's supposed to do.
Okay.
You know, you're gonna spend $4.50 on it, but it's gonna work like a blender should work. It'll turn ice into soup, literally. You know, it's in the blender. Press and let it go. You know, these are things I want to be able to support companies that I use. You know, Anovo I use for sous vide, which is a sous vide company. They also have a chamber vacuum for vacuuming up food that I use. I'm a big techie guy, but I know my products. Those are the ones that I deal with. And for you, tell me more about what we can do to support you, because we are over top.
Buy my product.
Buy your product. Well,
we have, you know, you can always go on Amazon. Rock Bottom has a trampoline.
That's the book.
So Mutt sauce, we're in Ohio in stores. So we have the Kroger stores in Ohio and a couple of Barstool Sports. So there's a casino here in Dayton that sells it. My strategy went from go everywhere and be everywhere to everyone to hyper local and e-commerce. So our e-commerce store doesn't open again for a few weeks, but then
why is that?
Because there's so many costs associated with maintaining a website and fulfilling an order fulfillment and pick and pack. And to me, anytime I open up the store, that becomes hire a bunch of people, and the challenge today of keeping a consistent person. So many people want you to third party do it. That's expensive. So while I knew that people support Mutt sauce enough that if I say the store's open today, people will know she's not keeping it open forever.
Get it while it's hot.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it while it's hot. And it relieves me of having to have another thing to track or another person that I have to check in with to track things. So that's where Mutt sauce is now. And in the kitchen, we still have the $1.3 million gap. So we're heavy in fundraising and nurturing our entrepreneurs. This is how I find balance. Not everything is happening at the same time. Some stuff I'm like, this is on pause while I do this. Okay. And so that's what I say. When it opens up again, get you some Mutt sauce. It'll be there in time for holidays and the fall and winter. Get the book. Come to one of my keynotes. Some of my keynotes are coming up. I have Military Influencer Conference in Atlanta.
Word.
Come to ATL shouting.
I got to make it down there. That was one of the places I was looking at moving to when we first got out of the military. So, but I don't foresee it being until, right now, because I'm not working at my regular job. I'm looking at maybe next year after next, because I got some big plans.
I haven't been to Atlanta in a while, but I'll be there for MIC definitely in October. That's really it.
That's it.
Some stuff for 6888, so you'll probably see me talk more about 6888.
How do we level up the individuals? Because I mean, to me, your success in these companies and that particular company is based on how successful the people who are there become. And if you can get 3 people, 4 people out of your 12 to the next level, move them up, right? That would be more of a business card calling than anything else.
Yeah.
That would,
you plan for each of them. So they're not there to stay. We're looking at them to
step
the local economy, become a brick and mortar, or do something that scales out of the kitchen.
Right, out of the incubator. I mean, that's why they call it an incubator. It's a starting point, not it's the next hurdle. So when I used to teach at Pratt and FIT, which I used to teach web design and development, the one thing that I can mark that part of my career, because that was my third side job or something like that, was how many people I influenced out of the class into becoming a web developer, right? A lot of them came from the print world. They were graphic designers, but they weren't coders, right? And I was able to because I have this strange brain of mine, I can translate the creative part into, this is how you turn this fictitious thing into what you want it to look like. You know, and it was really easy for me to do because I'm crazy that way. You know? That's just who I am. So for you to incubate these people, what do you think is the number that moves them out the door? Is there
not so much a number? It is, can their operations support their finances? So getting them to whatever that number is different for everyone. Because when I do consultations, I don't just ask about the business. I ask about their life. You know, if you have a business, it should support your whole life. So we need to look at, what's the number? What's your personal number of what you need to make a month to keep your family stable? And what is the operational number? What's the amount that you need to be making to cover your operations and your staff and keep the lights on, self-sustaining.
So does this incubator have all the infrastructure that would help them to grow their business to the next level? Do you do credit card processing? Do you do online menu? Do you cover any of that stuff? That's the stuff, tools that help.
When we think of the life cycle, it is financial literacy and a place to do your business. Everything else that's outside of that, it is, you get the benefit of our Rolodex, me, Jamaica, and Debria. And when you sit down with us in a mentoring session, if you do need to take out a line of credit or something like that, we'll probably call on one of our funders. So we have 2-3 banks that support the nonprofit. They have classes that we've put them in. So 3 classes. There's nonprofits that just do education. If there's something outside of what we can do, we'll refer you to their program. So if we don't have it in our business model, we know who does.
So the way I look at it for something like that is, I think about back to the military. You know, I think when I went in the Air Force, they sent me to tech school. Right. They said, oh, this is what you have, this much in it, and then we're going to narrow it to be this much, and then we're going to show you how to get up to this thing. And it was a plan to get you from airman first class to, sergeant to staff sergeant to, that's the thing I think that the civilians, to the regular folk, don't have. They don't give each other guidance on how to be successful and move to the next level. They generally, in fact, abuse each other in the process. Why, I don't know. Because if everybody was successful, we wouldn't have as many homeless people. We wouldn't have many people who fail. I don't see why we don't take care of our communities. It's just really weird. It's foreign to me. It really is very foreign to me. But I'm hoping that in your thing, because I used to work for a place called, food related again, Clover. They're owned by Fiserv.
And the credit card processor.
Yeah, credit card processor, right? They work with small businesses to move them forward. Obviously, I have lots of other issues to talk about them, but let's not even say that. But if there was a way to support the organizations that are inside of you, besides the classes, I mean, maybe even the classes are something that you can add as a checkbox or a flow that allows them to move from spot to spot to spot.
Oh, that
we
have pods inside of the space.
Oh.
So what's missing in our phased approach to this? We wanted to open up the whole kitchen, but we were only able to open up a bakery pod, an open space, the scullery, which is where you wash dishes, a prep area, and then a little bit of upstairs storage. And 1/3 of a grocery store. So we also have a retail store.
Oh, retail store.
The second phase of that is the rest of the retail store, 2 oversized pods. So if you're thinking of scaling out, our restaurant concepts might not have enough capital. We don't want you jumping from doing DoorDash to opening up your own brick and mortar. We're going to place you into a pod, which has your own door, your own key, so you can get the feel of a restaurant before you open the restaurant. Maybe you're a private chef and you've been doing DoorDash and meal prep to people. We also have a classroom we haven't opened up yet. And we want those chefs in the classroom teaching and seeing how they can do a business model where they just cook for people. And the entire basement floor is 10,000 square feet of dry, frozen, and cold storage for
chef fresh storage space. Is that what I heard?
Food storage, because there's restaurants who can't grow because they've run out of food storage space. So
so I see that's a really interesting.
So there's ways of people scaling. We just need to get the rest of it open so they can go in it.
And how is there a dollar value that you're looking for to maybe support the organization? That you're a non-for-profit, and is there a number that we can throw into the ether and say, well, if she had her $75 million to this week,
1.3 million.
That's it?
Well, hey, we'll just claim that. Yes, that is it.
What? So I saw you with a check for $1 million. So I'm like, 1.3, another 1.3 million is what you would need.
It was supposed to be a $4.3 million project. And we actually raised 4.3 million in 9 months.
So maybe it's not the 1.4. Maybe it's more. Maybe it's double that.
It's 6 million now.
Okay. So because I'm an optimist and I really like to make sure that you get what you want, we're gonna say it's an even 5. Why don't we say you need an even 5 as a number that you can keep in your mind, so when you hit that number, you know you already made what you wanted from the previous time.
We've hit 4.3.
No, I'm not talking about the money you already hit. I'm talking about the money.
Okay, so maybe we need 5 million more. That would be fantastic.
Well, yes, 5 million. You need 5 million more. 5. That's it. 5 million. Yes, that's the number. This lady needs 5 million more to make and help other entrepreneurs to grow, right? To be successful, right? To be on the right path, to develop a system of which grows more entrepreneurs. Absolutely. To grow small towns. That's what we're talking about.
Fix the food deserts.
Fix the food deserts, like my town, because this is ridiculous. I drive 20 minutes away to get the proper level of produce, right?
Yeah.
What I consider to be the proper level of produce. Yeah. Where'd that come from? I like this meat farms place. I go there for produce. There's a farm that's really close to me. There are farms. They're only 15 minutes away, but literally I have to drive 15 to 20 minutes away to get right produce. I want you to come up with a program that you can have a pathway to success for any small business that runs through it completely. A graduation ceremony from one spot to another. 5 million gives you more breathing room to do what you want. If you're saying you need 1.4, you multiply that out. That should take you over the top. That should allow for marketing capabilities, because I don't see why there isn't that part of it also, because they have to market. They got to get their product out there, known to other people.
Oh, yeah. When I tell you, me and Jamaica Debris are grinding, like I know you. Me hats right now. It's really crazy, but we're doing it because we know no one else is going to do it for these entrepreneurs.
So if you had 5, you can hire another person to help with the process, to make sure.
Hire staff. There's
set up infrastructure. You can set up a corner to do marketing of products. Literally photograph it, put it on whiteboard, and get it out there, and then set up maybe an e-commerce that comes directly from you guys with packing. Would that be better for you in your organization?
Yes, you're preaching. Yes.
$5 million. That's the number. 5. The 5, not a $5 foot long that was never a foot long. $5 million.
That's what we need.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
All right. Well, we're throwing it out there for those of you who are out there who are watching. This lady can help a lot of people. Charlynda's there to grow America from the bottom up, grow America from the middle of Ohio. And I have to say that really hard. That was really difficult for me to say. But Ohio, and make a non-food desert in the farmland, because that's where Ohio is, in the farmland.
It's out here. We out here.
But again, lady, it's been a pleasure, Charlynda, to hang out with you. I have taken way too much of your time.
It's always a pleasure, Jerome.
Well, we're going to do this another time, and I can't wait to see what your next step of, what's your next hurdle that you overcome, this small little hurdle of $5 million, right? And grow that team and help those people. And thank you very much once again.
Thank you.
Yes. Bye, my lady.
Bye-bye.